to make his case. Also, for decades, American presidents in both parties have been pushing a two-state solution to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But today, in the matter of just a few seconds, President Trump suggested a whole new approach that has gotten the mainstream media doing yet another hissy fit. But is it a good idea to bring some fresh ideas? I'll go one-on-one with the Democratic congressman who's here live tonight. But first, a quick check on all the late-breaking news out of the Trump administration today. For more on that, here's Fox News correspondent Trace Gallagher. Good evening, Trace.
Good evening, Ed. President Trump says the real scandal in Washington is that classified information is being illegally given out to criminal actors, quote, un-American U.S. intelligence community. The president talked about leaks during his joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump focused on a string of damaging news stories that relied on mostly anonymous government sources involving information gleaned by U.S. intel agencies. Those leaks, of course, resulted in the departure of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Watch.
I think it's very, very unfair what's happened to General Flynn, the way he was treated, and the documents and papers illegally, I stress that, illegally leaked. Very, very unfair.
Trump also went after the New York Times for alleging that several Trump associates had connections to Russian intel agents. Also during his news conference with the Israeli Prime Minister, the president said he's not committed to the creation of a Palestinian state. The so-called two-state solution has long been a pillar of the Middle East peace process. But Mr. Trump says he can live with a one-state or two-state. And the president appeared to startle Netanyahu when he dropped a bit of a bombshell, asking him to curb construction of settlements in territories. And finally, Carl's Jr. CEO Andrew Puzder has withdrawn his nomination as labor secretary. Puzder was up against major opposition from Democrats because of his stance on labor issues and the fact that he employed an undocumented housekeeper. But it was Republicans who sealed his fate, telling the White House that Puzder did not have a viable path for confirmation. Ed.
Trace, appreciate it. President Trump has been in office for less than 4 weeks, but if you pick up the Washington Post today, they claim the White House is already in reality crisis mode. Tonight, a Democratic congressman is actually talking about removing Donald Trump from office. And then there's the DNC. Its senior advisor, Zach Petkanis, is charging the Trump-Russia connection, as you guessed it, already bigger than Russia. Zach joins me live. It's good to see you. You seem like a calm, reasonable guy.
My mother thinks so.
And I think so on the surface. But why this hysterical charge on day 26? This is bigger than Watergate.
Oh, I don't think it's hysterical. Let's talk about the facts. We know that a foreign government has interjected itself in our election to help Donald Trump win. Yes.
That they interjected themselves.
But what we don't know is that the Trump campaign senior officials were in communication with the Kremlin, not just the Kremlin, the intelligence services that were actually working to help Donald Trump get elected.
Okay, and we've heard that for a long time.
No.
And I want to play the full context of what you said earlier on Facebook Live.
I'm Zach Petkanis, director of the Trump War Room here at the DNC. Over the last 48 hours, the press has confirmed what many of us already suspected. Donald Trump and his aides have repeatedly lied about their contact with Russia. And now, the American people are witnessing one of the biggest political scandals in American history. This is bigger than Watergate.
Okay, you said President Trump, not just his aides. President Trump has, quote, repeatedly lied about contact with Russia.
That's correct.
When did the president lie?
On January 11th. At least on January 11th. On January 6th, Donald Trump...
Okay, what did he say on January 11th? He had a news conference, and afterwards people shouted at him.
And afterwards, he was asked whether his aides had contact with the Kremlin, and he said no. And that was 5 days after he received an intelligence briefing that said the exact opposite, where the FBI and the CIA informed him that, in fact, his campaign and senior aides did have contact with intelligence.
And so, contact.
5 days after. Not only Donald Trump who lied, it's actually Mike Pence who lied as well. On January 15th, he was asked the question whether campaign aides had communication with the Kremlin. And he said no. And again, this is after January 6th, when he was a part of a briefing where it said the exact opposite.
And the Screamer story in the New York Times today that laid out these contacts you talk about said, and let me quote it directly, the officials interviewed in recent weeks, intelligence officials, said that so far had seen no evidence, Zach, of such cooperation. So you may have the Trump administration on contacts, okay, but there was no
the question
collusion.
that they lied.
Okay,
they
so
lied
let's
about.
concede that maybe Donald Trump didn't, and I'm not saying he did, but on January 11th, he suggested there was no contact, and you're saying there was contact. I'm still not seeing this as bigger than Watergate.
Well, I mean, let's be clear about how this scandal has unfolded. When we first learned about it in July, it was just that the Russians had interfered in the election. It wasn't that they had helped Trump. And then we learned it was in fact that they did it to help Trump. But it wasn't that there was any communication between the Kremlin and the top aides. And then we learned that there was communication between the Kremlins and the top aides. So this is where we currently are in the story. And what we need to do is we need to find out more information, which is why we need an independent, transparent investigation that can